The Epimenides Paradox dates back over 2,500 years and remains a cornerstone in the study of logic and philosophy. It begins with a deceptively simple statement attributed to Epimenides, a philosopher and poet from Crete. All Cretans are liars. At first glance, it seems like a sweeping generalization, but when you consider that Epimenides himself was a Cretan, the statement becomes a tangled puzzle. If his claim is true, then as a Cretan, Epimenides must also be lying. But if he's lying, then it's not true that all Cretans are liars, which means some Cretans must tell the truth. And if some Cretans tell the truth, then Epimenides' statement is false. Yet, if his statement is false, it could still be partially true, depending on interpretation. This loop of contradiction is what makes it a paradox. The Epimenides paradox is an early form of what is now known as the liar paradox, statements that refer to themselves in a way that undermines their own truth value, such as, "This statement is false." While the original phrase might not have been intended as a formal logical problem, later philosophers, including Aristotle and St. Paul, used variations of it to explore issues of truth and falsehood. One key point is that the paradox hinges on self-reference and universal claims. If Epimenides had said, "Some Cretans are liars," the statement could be evaluated without contradiction. But by declaring all, he created a totalizing claim that inevitably includes himself, trapping the statement in a cycle of truth and falsehood. Over time, this ancient puzzle has influenced the development of modern logic, semantics, and even computer science. In programming, self-referential commands can lead to infinite loops or contradictions that break a system, just as Epimenides' statement breaks conventional truth evaluation. In philosophy, it raises questions about whether human language is inherently vulnerable to these contradictions and how systems of logic can be built to avoid them. Interestingly, some scholars argue that the paradox may not be a true logical contradiction at all, depending on how we interpret liar in historical context. Epimenides might have been referring to religious or moral untruths rather than literal falsehoods, making his statement more rhetorical than paradoxical. Regardless of its original intent, the Epimenides paradox endures as a striking example of how a simple sentence can expose the complexity of truth. It remains a reminder that sometimes the more certain a statement sounds, the less certain it becomes under close examination.